Okay, everyone, welcome back to Every Kind of I Do. This is a stream that's mostly about my work as a photographer and all the couples and things that I've put myself around to get inspiration, to capture love stories, and all the wonderful things that have come through my career so far. And this is going to be another special one. So, when you're a artist or a photographer and you're dreaming something up and you know that maybe one day a couple could take your inspiration and really run with it kind of a thing. So in the beginning of Weirdo Weddings photography, I was needing to showcase what would my couples look like? What would they express on their wedding day or elopement? And I found a lot of times I just let myself go back into the 80s. And so you'll see that the 80s and 90s have resurfaced over, we got Stranger Things coming out. We have the 90s aesthetics kind of like sprinkling its way back in. So the beautiful thing about this concept that I ran with, and I don't think I've ever spoken about it in detail, is that when I was doing rooms on Clubhouse, we called it wedding movies that we love. And one of them was Betsy's Wedding with Molly Ringwald. And Molly Ringwald was like a staple of the 80s. Like her fashion sense, the people like the movies that she did and like the fashion that they put her in was a big statement piece to the 80s. It was as a part of it, part of the culture, right? So, and I still think a lot of her work in the early days was really awesome because she just had a specific look to her. She had a specific character that she would portray. In Betsy's Wedding, she was very creative. She was a fashion designer. She would chop things up and her own. Her whole style was unique in that movie. But I also found that to be true in Pretty in Pink. Like she had her own fashion. She showed up in these school scenarios wearing things that she wanted to wear, even if nobody liked it. And she just kind of had her own style and flair. And at some point, she just had to realize that she was enough as who she was. And there's the same thing with Betsy's Wedding. Like she was coming up against the scrutiny of her family, the expectations of people around her. Then she started to like have her own expectations. And then at some point in the movie, she broke and said, "Listen, I'm gonna make my own dress. You might as well just walk away and I'll see you at the aisle." And that's pretty much what she did. And I don't have an example photo of the in this, but this is my work here. But I want you to understand that this vibe that I was going for in this feel was the 80s vibe mixed with this slight bit of 80s hairband rocker kind of thing. Okay? So I just want you to have the idea of where this is going because it's a mishmash of awesome stuff. Just gonna say that. So, what I brought forth in this elopement. Okay, so let's start with the left. Blake is wearing a really cool, kind of like really strange looking pattern jacket, but it's like perfect for this vibe. He's got the black leathery hat on and the tight black, pants. Also has a pink striped necktie, which is why I wore my pink stripes today. Whoop whoop. And he's actually holding the bouquet and she's holding a parasol. Okay. So we kind of mishmashed it a little bit. And also, what I want to do is stop and highlight my officiant friend here. This is Mark. He's been a myriad of characters since I've known him. This time, because we were going with the 80s, I told him, can you think Don Johnson meets Miami Vice kind of vibe? And what do you know? He shows up. We got this vibe going on. It fits right in with the aesthetic that we were going for. And again, we're back at Lizzie Gator up in Pilot Point, which is the Twisted Chapel. So if you're wondering why everything's at an angle, it's because we're back at Lizzie Gator again. You know, the Twisted Chapel that we're like, what is wrong with it? So, and then we have on the right side, we have her with a completely adorable bowler hat. I believe we added a veil to it at one point. So we could have that. What would the modern Betsy, do in this aesthetic? So we ended up putting her in pants and a really long flowy skirt, a sort of a Renaissance top and corset with a bowler's hat and a veil. I mean, you cannot get cuter than this. And then don't forget her pink bow collar. It's so cute, y'all. Like Here we go. Okay, so we're back at the Twisted Chapel, like I said. Here we're going to go over what they're wearing now. We have a couple of photos that I'm going to show you what they're wearing that gives you the 80s vibe. First of all, that hair is all natural. That hair is all natural. We don't need to worry about that. He's actually being exactly who he is. We just dressed him up a little bit. So we have a little flower here that kind of matches with everything. He's also got this little bouquet with the pink ribbon going off. The complete rocker vibe, punk meets, pink stripes over here. She's got the corset, she's got the tie-on skirt, she's got kind of like this Ren Fair kind of vibe going on here. We have a pink little collar with a heart, and then you can see more about the hat going on over here. We have the hat over here, the hat over here. It's a double hat win day. As for the shoes, I think there's another better photo, but we have also the pink striped shoes. I don't know if you can see that. Let me lean out of the way. Pink striped shoes, and she's wearing a nice little pump heel over here. It feels very this could be any season, honestly, that you can pull this off. This could be a perfect elopement look. This could be a perfect mini moni micro wedding. If you want the parasol option, we thought the parasol was a nice option just because it just felt like it went with that whole vibe. So think Betsy's wedding meets Pretty in Pink meets 80s hairband, right? So this is just a really clear photo of what we have going on. We have the tie that mimics the shoes, that mimics her shoes, and then this big, this is the billowy skirt that we attached. So it's kind of got this lacy frill to it. But we also have her holding the bouquet again with, it looks like we also have a couple of succulents tucked in here. Now, this is a faux bouquet, okay? So don't be thinking that we ran out there and we just like grabbed a whole bunch of flowers and threw this together. This is a faux bouquet, so we could like really mix and match with it and figure out what we wanted in this bouquet. So I think it's lovely and it works. And also, I've noticed here that I think this is a pink bow tie that we may have put on the hat. I can't remember. Do not quote me. But Lizzie at Lizzie Gator helped me style all of this. And so, whatever idea I had, we worked together to bring this to life. And I think it's just lovely. So she has her collar here with a little bow and a little heart. And then you can see the closer details of his flowers here. So we kind of have this feathery thing going on. For me, it makes sense. For me, it photographs nicely. If this is a couple that's picking their own things, I'm happy with it as a photographer. As long as you're being exactly who you are and expressing yourself, that's what I'm here for. So this is a little closer detail of the hat. Now, you can kind of see there is some weird little eyeball action happening there, but that's not a bad thing. It might just be something you want to do. A little closer up version of the details of the jacket. It looks like a little bit of camo, honestly, with this really cool pink tie. Not gonna lie, it's pretty awesome. Again, this is his real hair. This is the aesthetic that we're going for. And then here's a close-up. I do believe this is a a necktie. I love it. So we have a close-up of the hat detail mixed with her makeup, and then we have the collar detail as well, the little choker. And you can see a little bit of the veil. There's a slight veil detail right here. But look at the subtleness of the tie here. Look at this tiny bit of a stripe that kind of mimics his tie as well, right? So I'm just telling you this because these aesthetics work for me. And I'm the one that was collaborating on this photo shoot. So I was happy. I was so happy with how it came out. If this was my couple, I would have been like, hello, hello. I mean, again, this is a real couple. Just a styled shoot that we put together, just kind of like to give inspiration to the world. I love it. I love everything about it that even afterwards I'm looking at this like, did we mean to do this? I don't remember. But I love looking at it because it's a great example of how you can take something from an era and make it modern and also twist it up and make it your own. And so go ahead and thanks for joining me today. I really enjoyed having you with me today to see this 80s meets Betsy's wedding meets rocker 80s meets let's just call it the Molly Ringwald episode. And if you don't know who that is, then you might as well look her up. Look her up and watch her movies because it's definitely a thing. It's definitely an interesting concept of having somebody be their own fashionista and do their own thing in fashion. So, all right, I will talk to you later and I'll see you on the next episode. This is Jen with Weirdo Weddings signing out. Oh, yeah, and it's every kind of I do.